Yeah, I'm hearable as well as my PPT is also visible, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. So we started in the morning with a particular concept called as how the marketing strategy is relevant with the company, and we particularly said the marketing strategy, though it is of course a functional area, most of us know that that could be the functional area in most of the organization, but having about the functional or having it as a functional area may not be working well for any organization regarding of marketing. So therefore, we have to make it as a company-wide marketing strategy, or company has to realize the marketing strategy to be very important, and also that we have to plan it in such a way. So that's why this particular chapter is being given for us to really relate the marketing strategy with the overall company plan, right? So in that regard, we said these are the areas we are going to cover as strategic planning, and again about business portfolio, then about partnering, as well as the strategy and the marketing mix, marketing effort, as well as how we can measure about the investment that we have put into the marketing, right? So that is what we are going to here cover about. In that respect, we started with strategic planning. Strategic planning is, of course, very much related with the overall company's plan. So, under that, what is being done in the company-wide perspective is, it is, of course, taken as a process of developing and maintaining, of course, the strategic fit between the organizational goal and capabilities and its changing marketing opportunities. So, what actually we have to do, or what actually by strategic planning the organization tries to do is, it is making about the fit between the organizational goals as well as what sort of capability that they are having. So capability can be measured by human resources, by the finance that they are having, by the infrastructure they have. So many things will be giving about these capabilities which the organization is having. And with the goal as well as the capabilities, the changing marketing opportunities. That is, of course, we said that to be the environment change, right? So when the environment is where that we have to operate. So we cannot go out of it, or we cannot function out of it. Within that we have to function. Therefore, we know that the marketing environment is not to be static or not to be stable. It would be keep on changing. So the changes will be creating about challenges. So in that challenges, we have opportunities as well as we have threats. So how that the organization is going to have a fit or make those two to balance together is what that will be done in the strategic planning. And we said in the strategic planning, the very important one is the mission. Mission, of course, for the purpose, for what purpose this organization uh, has existed or is been existing. At the same time, what that they would be accomplishing in the environmental context is given in the mission statement. Of course, if we make it the mission statement for the market oriented way, or that to be turned into or converted into a market oriented, because as a marketer we are very much worried about the market oriented mission statement, right? So in this mission statement, we see that how the businesses are going to satisfy the consumers' requirements. So in the mission statement of market orientation will be mostly concentrated or focused on how the organization would satisfy the consumer's requirement. But whereas the mission statement of a larger organization or the particular company is, of course, in the hands of how that we are going to fulfill the requirement in the changing environment. And of course, as that we understood that the market orientation is very important, and market orientation mission we were just now having an eye on. And of course, this mission to be very soundful, or that the mission to be very effective, we know what is meant by mission, like everywhere that you go, maybe where that you have studied in the schools, or maybe the university that you are studying, or wherever organization that you move in, the mission and the vision statements are there, right? So this mission statement is giving about the purpose of uh, educating the people or the stakeholders what the organization is. Same as that, when you create about a market oriented mission, that is, of course, emphasizing the fact for the marketers, that is, the marketing department or people who are responsible for the marketing department, that what that they have to attain, right? So, where that they have to move on. So, this mission to be very much successful, or that to be an effective one or sound mission to have in organization, these are the four important questions that we have to answer, or we have to get four answers for the questions that have been raised here. So one is what is our business? Where that we are fitted, right? So we know as we belong to a particular business, we go into one industry. But nowadays, of course, it is very difficult, as I have already told you. Now, of course, it is very difficult for us to define about the industry, because we have multiple businesses with ourselves. But even if you take about one business, that business combinations may not be able to be identified for the appropriate industries to work on. So sometimes we are in one industry at the same time, on the other industry also may be applicable. So what is our business that we have to really define? Then who is our customer? Who are the target people? Customers, of course, then and there, they may come and consume, right? So we have to know who are they, whether they are the in another way, who are our segment, right? Who are our target market, or who are our target people, target customers, right? So they may be coming for the organization for different purposes, maybe of the product that you are giving, maybe of the prices in which the product is being given, maybe of the promotion, maybe of the availability. For a number of reasons, these customers may be coming to your organization. So we have to really know who is our customer, right? Whether they are the female customers or male customers, or they to be children, they to be adults, they to be youth, right? They to be coming from the high class income, or lower class or middle class. Many things that we may be able to define regarding of them, right? Who is our customer is another one. And what do consumer value, right? So once that they wanted to fulfill their needs or the requirements, once is the very important one, if they were going to fulfill, then what do they look in that, right? What is the main aspect that they are looking into that? That is, what is the value that they may try to get from organizations purchase. So what is the value that they are going to get of consuming your products or services? That is the very important one. What is the value? I have already explained what is meant by value, and in the last lectures also we saw how that the value can be calculated. It is, of course, the differences we get from the benefits, as well as how much of cost that is been incurred in order to get the benefits. So the differences are considered to be value. So what is the value these people wanted from the organization, right? So That is also really wanted to be known. And what should our business be, right? So maybe now what the business that we are, and in the future what businesses we should be is also very important, because time to time our businesses may not be materializing or may not be earning about the profits that we intended with. So we have to sometimes change our business or expand our business, or some businesses to be diversified into, right? Some that we have to differentiate. So many things are wanted with. So these sort of things have to be incorporated when the market-driven mission is being formulated. So that is where the marketers has to focus over. Right. So while that we were talking about the strategic planning, right? So the planning process, the strategic planning is said to be a process where that we have a fit between the organization goals and capabilities with a changing environment. So at the corporate level, this is what is taking place at the strategic planning. First, we are defining about the company mission. We have already seen what is meant by company mission, that within the changing environment, organizations are going to attain about their goals, right? So that is the mission. And setting the objectives and goals. So once that the mission is being known, we can move further to set about the objectives and goals, for the reason that having about the mission, we may not be attaining about the mission in a very shorter period. So it is going to be taking for us longer period. But until that, we cannot just wait of looking the process. So we have to measure ourselves. Where do we stand, right? Or for the short term period, or for a medium long term period, that we have to have some targets. So that is what we convert into objectives as well as goals. So from the mission, the objectives and goals are being driven, and then we are designing on what is our business portfolio. Now, business portfolio in the sense, I think you would understand what is meant by portfolio. Portfolio in the sense that we are not only depending on one type of product, right? So we may be expanding our product into many product lines, many product mix, right? So now, say for an instance, if you take about Procter and Gamble, right, or the Unilever, right? They have not dependent on one set of products, so they keep on expanding. Now, if you take the CBL, Ceylon Biscuit Limited, they have not only confined to the biscuits that they were earlier introducing. Now they have expanded into like chocolates and also some confectionery products, right? So there is a portfolio in the sense. Now, say for an instance, as these Cargill, right? So they have distribution business, they have real estate business, they have a pharmacy, and they may be having about, we'll say, bank also, right? Financial businesses also that they are having. So now you can see as an example, there are four business, right? For Kajal. So how now they are managing about, right? Or how that these business portfolios. So portfolio in the sense, we have this business, other business, and also in addition to that, further one can be added with. So there are a number of businesses that we are going to design how that the business are going to be, right? So at the business unit or even at the product level, what we are doing is we are planning the marketing, right? So here may be the business portfolio design, but of course, the marketing department is of course responsible how that to be marketed, and how the functional strategies of marketing to be decided. So, a marketing plan cannot be developed without knowing the corporate level plan. So that is the company wide planning. So company wide planning is this, right, up to this particular section, that you would say that to be the company wide plans. But thereafter, it has to be taken by the organization as a business unit as well as at the market level. So this is how the marketing plan is connected with, or the marketing strategy is connected with the overall organization, or with the overall company. Right? Now, say as an example, right? So there is foreign companies which have been taken here as an example. So, product versus market oriented business definition. So, some of the firms like wanted to have a product oriented definition, some may wanted to have a market oriented definition. Right now, say for the instance of we'll say which is very known one, IBM, if they are defining the product in a product oriented way, this is what that they are going to see, or that they will be concentrated. We make computers, right? The hardware and software. We make computer hardware and software. That is for the product. But say if it is a market oriented one, then their statement would be turning into, we provide technology solutions that help customer build a smarter planet, right? So now see how wide when it comes to the market oriented definition, and how it is narrowed down when it comes to the product oriented definition. So there is no harm of defining that either in the product oriented way or in the market oriented way. But of course, that we have to really know what is meant by product oriented as well as market oriented, right? So now, say if it is Walmart, in case if it's a product oriented, they say we run discount stores, right? If that wanted to be a market oriented definition, so now it is very broader. We deliver lower price every day and give ordinary folks the chance to buy the same thing as a rich people, save the money, live better. So that is of course the market oriented definition. So either it could be market oriented, or even to be a product oriented one. But anyway, we have to know what that we are meant by, right? If it is the market, but what we are meant for. If it is a product, what we are meant for, right? And of course, in strategic planning, we said we have to set about the goals and the objectives. So, as an organization, business objectives are being developed. As a marketing area, the marketing objectives are being developed. Now, what are the differences between these two? You will understand by what it is specified here. Here you will see the business objective is to build profitable customer relationship, right? And invest in research and improve the profits. But market oriented objective is to increase the market share. Now this is where that we are going to give our products, right? So in the market, the proportion of market that we are having have to be increased. That is, compared to the competitors, the share of our organization have to be increased. So then we will be the market leader. If market leader, the position when we get, then we can attain higher profits, right? And create local partnerships. So partnership is very much wanted. We have to create relationship with the customer. We have to create relationship with the intermediaries or maybe the distributors, or we have to even create a relationship with the financial providers. So there have to be many relationship or many partnership created so that our action can proceed without any disturbance, right? So the local partnership is very important, and also to increase the promotion. So we know if actions are being taken in order to induce the sales, then only we have a chance of increasing our product sales or maybe the revenue as well as the profitability, right? So uh, so this actually give you an idea what is the business objective and what is the marketing objective. So as we have seen as a product oriented as well as that to be the market oriented. So to that extent, here we are having about the same differences experience here. So that to be business objectives as well as market or marketing objectives. Right. And for the reason in the particular planning process, I will just go back, see, defining the company mission, then setting the company objectives and goals, and now designing the business portfolio. Now, if you come into the understanding of portfolio, of course, it is said to be a collection of businesses, many businesses and products that make up the company, right? So that is what we call it as business portfolio. But we have to have a portfolio analysis, right? So now, what is meant by a portfolio analysis in the sense how now we are going to combine different businesses together. Now, combination in the sense not that two businesses are put together. It is not that meaning, but of course, how that we are going to run the number of businesses that we are having, right? So that is meant by the portfolio. For which businesses we have to give high priority, for which businesses that we can keep away, right? So these sort of decisions have to be made by the marketers, and therefore the portfolio analysis is very important. So the portfolio analysis is, making about or the analysis can be said to be a major activity in the strategic planning whereby management evaluate the products and the businesses that make up the company. So now we have heard about a good word here, a very important word, evaluate the products and the businesses. Now they have to know from which businesses that they are getting more revenues, right? So the businesses that they are getting more revenues will require about more investment. You have to spend on, right? The businesses in which low profits are being provided to the company, of course, that we can limit the expenditure over that because we are not generating or we are unable to generate more income into that. So the portfolio analysis, of course, though that the organizations are having a portfolio of products and businesses, that the evaluation has to be done, which of them are best or which of them that we have to concentrate. Lately, when we come to the BCG matrix, you will understand this particular fact, right? But anyway, just now you know that it is, of course, the analysis of which one to be concentrated more and which that we can have less attention, right? Now, in this business portfolio planning, actually it involves with two steps. One to be first, the company has to analyze about its current business portfolio and determine which businesses should receive more, less, or no investment. Okay. Now, what I was earlier talking about is relevant to the first step, first that we have to know what is our businesses. Now say we have A, B, C, D business. Four businesses are there with us. And out of these four businesses, we have to know for which businesses that we have to give more priority, or in a way, priority means how much of investment that we are going to put onto that. So that have to be really known. So some businesses will be receiving about more money. Some businesses will have less or no investment, right? So that is with respect to the current business. The second, of course, we have to shape up the future portfolio by developing strategies for growth and downsizing, right? Now, once that we know some of the businesses are not having uh, profits for us, right? So it is fading away, or the profits that is earned is being decreasing. So what that we have to do? We have to close those businesses or try to move those businesses in the less investment priority area. So we need not to invest more on those type of businesses, right? So this is the future portfolio we have to decide on. So we first know about our current business portfolio, and not only that, in future, how would the portfolio look like? Sometimes we have to even take into concern new businesses into the portfolios also as well. So this business portfolio planning gives us a very important one, right? And further to that, the management's, of course, the very important step is to identify the key businesses that make up the company. Right. So, what sort of businesses that very important. Now, each of those businesses can be called as a strategic business unit. We are abbreviated as SBUs. Right. So now say Cargill's real estate business, that is SBU one, or SBU responsible for real estate business. Then the distribution, that to be SBU2, which is concentrating on the distribution business, right? Other one to be the banking. So we have SBU3, that is indicating about the banking businesses. So all these businesses are called as the strategic business units, right? Units, not unit, it's units. So different units are coming into here, right? So here the SBU of a company can be a division, or it can be a product line, right, within the division, or it can be sometimes a single product or a brand. So in different way, you can put those aspects into the business units, or that to be the strategic business unit. Now, say sometimes it can be the divisions which have been called, right? So, if I say about the divisions, now we will see there is electronic appliances, right? So that is one division, and there is of course software developments, right? So that to be another division. So electronic appliances, of course, one SBU, and software developers to be another SBU, that based on the division. Sometimes it can be a product line, right? So now say for an instance, that to be the electronic items, right? So in the electronic items, you have different products that is coming into, right? So it may be washing machines, it can be refrigerators, and it can be chopping, cutting, or something like that. So in that way, though that they are coming into an electronic items category, but still that we have different divisions, right? Different what you call demarcations that we are having. So one SBU for the washing machine, another SBU for the refrigerator, and maybe a third SBU is for the televisions or something, right? So in that way, as a product line that we can have division. Sometimes it may be also indicating a single product or even that to be a brand, right? So sometimes SBUs are being defined by single product. Now, like single product in the sense, if you take about soap categories, there are different soap categories. Now, some are only for the washing about. The cleansing and washing is being done by some soap. If you take about the other soap, that is of course relevant with the body care as well as the fragrant one, right? Or freshness and fragrance. So that soap may be dealing with that type of activity. So, relevant to that type of purpose, it may be dealing with, right? Some other soaps that we may be using for animals, right? So, animals use the soaps, we cannot use it for humans, no, that is a particular category. So, if you take about the soap, even in the soap, there are like three divisions we may able to observe. So, uh, what is going for cloth washing or normal washing, that is one SBU, which is going for body care and fragrance and freshness, that to be another SBU, as well as the soaps that are being used on animals is going for another SBU. Now, you see, either it can be division or it can be a product line or even it can be a single product. There can be SBUs developed, right? So you have to understand this. Then, of course, the company will assess about the attractiveness of SBUs and decide how much to support each, right? So now we know different SBUs are there. For each of those SBUs, what sort of concern, what is the importance that we have to give? That depends on the attractiveness. Attractiveness in the sense whether it is giving about more revenue or more profit to the organization, right? So that is that. Then, when we are designing a business portfolio, it is of course good for us to add and support products and businesses that fit closely, right? Now, say for an instance, it is not that we are going to maintain the same portfolio for the future also. Sometimes some of the businesses would have been taken off, some of the new businesses that we are going to add into, right? So when you are adding something new into, it is better for us to have about what you call a care over whether those two businesses are matching with each other or supporting each other. Now, supporting in the sense that we can advertise those two products together, or we can get the product with one transport, or we can store it in one storehouse, right, or warehouse we can store it, right? So when that sort of benefits are there, it would be better for us to get such type of products for the reason that would be minimizing the cost that is involved in the marketing program. So therefore, that is being suggested in that way, right? Okay, so we it is been again said that what is meant by SBUs, right? So these SBUs, of course, will have a separate mission because they are going into different markets now. So therefore, market-driven missions would be developed, and the subsequent objectives also may been created or formulated with, and it can be a division, it can be a product line within the division, and even it can be a single product or a brand, right? And we particularly said we have to analyze about the current business portfolios, whether the current what do you call portfolio. Now, what is meant by portfolio? Can anyone tell me? What is a portfolio? Students, I already told you, you better try to tell what that you have understood. So then only I will come to know what is your understanding level. Otherwise, I will keep on running. Can anyone tell me what is portfolio or business portfolio?
Business portfolio is, ma'am, not depending on one type of product.
Yeah, you have a collection of products, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's the collection of, that is why we say portfolio, and portfolio management is there. Now say for an instance, if you have have money, where are you going to invest on? Right? Now we don't want more risk to be bad. So what we will do, we will put some of the money as fixed deposits because interest we can get. We will invest that in some shares because we know when the company performance is better, then we can get dividends. At the same time, there can be also what do you call capital gain, right? So these two benefits that is supposed to be provided when you invest on the share. And also sometimes we invest that on debentures. Why we wanted to go on debentures? That of course have a fixed interest or fixed return that we can be having, right? So we have some of the money invested in the fixed deposit, some of the money invested in the shares, and some of the money in the debentures. So this is what we call it as a portfolio. Okay, you understood now the concept of portfolio?
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much for MS 73 or 71 it was. Can you unmute please?
Ma'am.
Yes, 73. Right, good attempt. I just wanted all of you to come out, right? Then only I will come to know, what is the level of understanding you are having now. We are learning this subject. We are not expert on this, right? So we try to learn. So while that we are learning, we will make about the mistakes, and from the mistakes that we are going to have more understanding. So I wanted all of you to come out whatever ideas that you are having, so that I will understand and I can also correct it. And sometimes you may be giving more idea uh, than my expertise I have, right? So I expect that people to speak up, right? So now, so you understand what is portfolio. Now here, first item that we said, two important steps we have to engage with. One is to analyze about the current portfolio. Now, what we do by or what that is required to do about analyzing the current portfolio is to identify the key businesses, right? So it can be business units, right? That make up the company. So first you identify how many businesses that have been there and assess the attractiveness of it, various SBU. And we come to know these businesses, what sort of profits that they are generating or what sort of income that they are generating to the organization, right? And then you decide how much to support each SBUs, right? In the sense whether you are going to put more money on one business and less money on another business. So the same example I was talking about, right? You have some of the money and you are deciding on which of those investments that you are going to put the money, right? So put the money in order to get some returns, isn't it? Right? So that is how here also uh, here also we move on, right? And now, in order to do that, this is what earlier also I was having concern over. In order to do that, or the task of doing that is not easier, right? I mean, how to decide on which is giving us more profits and to which that we have to give more uh, concern, right? Or have to have more investment on, right? So deciding that is not an easiest task, but we can get a help of this particular approach. This is called as Boston Consulting Group approach, right? Or in an abbreviated form, BCG, right? BCG matrix or BCG approach, right? But the full version is that Boston Consulting Group approach, right? Now, through this approach, actually, this is looking into two things, right? So, one is the growth share, how much of growth in the market where that they are operating is having, right? So, that is normally on the vertical axis that we have the market growth rate. Okay. Then so that may be giving about an idea of the market attractiveness. So if there is growth in the sense demand is been increasing only, then we can increase our sales. Now if the market is not having about the potentiality of increment of demand, then how that we may able to get more sales, right? So market growth is meant to market growth is meant for increasing about the demand. So there is new people, new customers coming into the market. So we have high potentiality of increasing our market share. So that is meant by market growth rate, right? So that gives about the attractiveness. And on the horizontal axis, we have the relative market share. Now, what does it mean by the relative market share is, what is the share that we have next to the competitor? I mean, with the next competitor. Next competitor in the sense who is closer to us. Right? What is the market share that we are having compared to the market share of the competitor who is next to us? Right? So these two are taken into a matrix. So vertical axis, you know, no, what is meant by vertical axis, and on the horizontal axis, vertical axis we have the market growth rate, and on the horizontal axis that we have the relative market share. Right? Now this is what the particular BCG model looks as. Right? Have you seen this or have you heard about earlier? Students, do you know about this BCG matrix?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
This is the first time you are seeing. Okay, well and good. Okay, now what I said, we have the market growth rate in the vertical axis. This is vertical axis, isn't it? Now, on the horizontal axis, we have the relative market share, right? Now, relative market share, how it is being calculated is, what is our, now say A and B company is there. Our company is A. We have about 50% of share, right? And of course, the other next to us have about 10% of market share. So, what is our proportion or what is our relative market share is, we have 5 folds more than our competitor. 5 times we are bigger, right? So, that is 5 to 1. Okay, so we have a high, Kelsey. right? So we have that meant to say we have a high market share. We have fivefolds, no? 5 times we are bigger than our competitor, right? So high relative market share is there. That is how the market share is being calculated, right? So relative market share, we can have high and lower. Market growth rate also we can have lower and high, right? Now, market growth rate to be high, what does it mean? There is more demand. That to be lower, there is less demand. Relative market share to be high, we have more proportion of market share with us. Low means we have less market share compared to a competitor. So based on that, we can have it as a 4 quadrants, right? So there is dog, question mark, stars, and cash cow. Okay. Now, what is meant by dog? Suppose if you happen, now you can calculate. I said an organization can have 5 to 6 businesses as an example. 5 to 6 businesses. What you have to do is for those 5 to 6 businesses, you have to calculate the market growth rate as well as the relative market share, right? So market growth rate is how the market demand is increasing with that you can come to know about. Then the relative market share is compared to your competitor, what is the share that you are having. Okay, so based on that, now you can position. Now within this, can you see like some circles? Circles. Are you able to observe the circles within
Yes,
this
ma'am.
quadrant? Yeah, right. Some circles are bigger, some circles are smaller, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, how the circle or the size of the circle is identified and that is been drawn here is now this all the business comes under one roof, no, under one company. Okay. Now we tabulate the total sales. Now say there are 5 SBUs A, B, C, D, E. Right. So 5 SBUs are there. What is the sales? All these SBUs are generated. Right. So what is the sales that they have had? The total sales that you get. Right. Out of the total sales, what is the individual SBU's proportion is being calculated. Now, say for an instance, the total sales is 1,000, right? From all those 5 SBUs that we have got 1,000, maybe 1,000 in value or 1,000 in units, okay? 1,000 that we have got. Out of the 1,000, now we will say A unit has 100 units. So what is the proportion? It is 10%. Like B unit have 500 sales, right? So what is of course that to be 50%, isn't it? Right? So which unit is generated more sales? That to be obviously B. Now we will consider other units also have the sales less than 500 than B. So B has a higher proportion of contribution to the total sales of the company. So therefore, it may be drawn as a big circle. Small circle, small proportion. Now say sometimes your unit or USBU can be generating only 50 units. Right? So if it is 50 units, the proportion is very small enough. So therefore, the small circle is being drawn. Okay. So that is drawing about the circles. And again, how these circles are being pointed or how it is being mapped in this quadrant is based on the market growth rate and the relative market share. Now say in this dog, what is the dog position? It is having about a lower growth rate as well as lower relative market share. How many business units that you can find? How many SBUs in the dog you can find? How many SBUs you can find in the dog segment or in the dog quadrant? This is one quadrant. It's a quarter portion, no? One quadrant. This is another quadrant. This one is yet another one, and this to be the fourth quadrant. Now, my question is, how many SBUs are there in the dog quadrant? How many SBUs are there? What did I tell you about the yeah, I get a chat answer. Who is this? MS61. MS61, can't you voice? Why that you are coming in the chat? MS61, unmute and say.
3, ma'am.
Yes, 3. Very good. So, we have 3 SBUs in the dog quadrant. Now, coming into the question mark. What is the status of the question mark? In relative market share, it is lower, and in the market growth rate, it is higher, right? So, in this question mark, how many SBUs are there?
3, ma'am.
3. Very good. Then coming to the star, what is the position of the star? High growth market or growth rate, and relative market share is also high. How many SBUs we have?
2.
2. Then about the cash cow, right? That is another quadrant. How many SBUs are there?
2, ma'am.
Yeah. What is the position of this? Relative market share is higher, but market growth rate is lower. Okay. Now, based on these, now I am saying the upper quadrant. What is the upper quadrants? The stars and the question mark, right? These quadrants, we have to invest more. That is, we have to give more money. For the reason, it is more attractive, right? And for the lower quadrants, that is cash, cow, and dog, we need not to invest more on that because it is pointless. For the reason that the market attractiveness is less. Do you understand that point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Now, but say cash cow relative market share is higher, right? Means you are a market leader. But if you see about the market growth rate, it is lower. So that means you are not having new people coming into the company, or company cannot attract new people because the market growth rate is lower. So the attractiveness is lower, right? But still, the cash cows are good for an organization for the reason relative market, you are a market leader. So you can keep on generating more income. You can have more income for what reason? Can anyone tell me? You can have more income generated by this particular quadrant. Can anyone tell me why? Come on, try.
Because relative market share is high.
Relative market share is high. Yeah. If relative market share is high, what does it mean? Yeah, keep on identifying. What you said was correct. Relative market share is high. So, you are having what? Income generated into. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
But market growth rate is lower, no? So, do we need to invest on this particular business? We know definitely no newcomers are going to come here, right? So investing is pointless. So if our investment is lower and more income you can have for the reason that you being the market leader or relative market share to be higher by this particular quadrant, you can generate more money. Do you accept that? Students say yes,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
no? Yes, okay. Now we'll move to the dog. I say by dog we can generate more money. Can anyone justify this? By dog you can generate more money. What is the position of a dog? Lower market share, relative market share is relative market share. It is not merely market share, it is relative. Relative in the sense compared to your next competitor. So relative market share is lower. Again, the market growth rate is also lower. But by this particular cell, we can generate money. We can get money. You accept that? Yes, come on. 147. Maybe it is little difficult for you to think, but anyway, you can try to get the answer. 147. MS. MS 147. Unmute yourself. Hundred and 147. I will remove you. MS 147. You are not there, I think. COM 121. COM 121. Unmute yourself. COM 125. 125. Already gone. 125. From 125. Remove. This is my work. Calling and remove. 152. 152. Unmute now. Remove. MS 61. That's my baby. Unmuted. Yes. Any idea? Sorry? Just think about that map and tell me any idea that you have. Why I say that by this particular quadrant, you can get cash. Now we are worried about cash only, no? Cash means how that we are going to get the cash and invest on that. So by cash cow, you know how that you can get the cash, no? Because our income is more, but the expenditure that we have is less. So by that we can generate the cash for cash cow. For dog also I am saying you can generate cash. How it would be possible? Any idea?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
The relative market share is low, ma'am. It may be the it compare with the competitors, so we can.
Yeah, compared to your competitor, you are in a lower position. And your market growth rate is also lower. So that is, there is no attractiveness is not there. But still I say, by this quadrant, we can generate cash. We can get cash rather than generate. That word may not be appropriate. You can get cash. How it is possible?
Sir.
73, you are unmuted. It's very good. I like volunteers like this. Yes. 73.
We should attract the customers away from our competitors, ma'am.
No, it is not possible, Amma. That is what I told you. It's not possible because we are already positioned in the in an unfavorable status. Our market share is very much less. Yes, 73 you attempted, so I will never remove you any day. I just wanted volunteers. Come on. Come 79. Come 95. Come 95. Unmute yourself. No. Remove. From 100. Remove. We'll come to MS now. MS 42.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you just say something? MS 45?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Any idea? 45. Unmute yourself.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Yeah. Any idea? MS 53. $53. Remove. MS 52. I think 52 mostly comes with some ideas. 52.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. 52.
Ma'am, this is not
Any idea? Yeah.
marketing growth rate is low.
Yeah.
Marketing also low. That's why.
Yeah, that is low one or in both sides. It is in a weaker position. But I say you can get money by this. There are how many these ones are there?
3, ma'am.
3 business portfolios are there. Means 3 SBUs are there. So I say by these 3 SBUs you can get cash. Cash is what that we wanted, no? MS 147. MS 147. 47 gone. Com 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, any idea?
I think market growth rate low is in long run maybe not case to getting money.
Yes. So what we will do for these 3 SBUs? We know that that's where, right? So now you have come to the point. Form 3. In future, we may not be able to get anything good by these businesses, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
These 3 businesses are not going to give anything. So what we will do? We will wind up these businesses, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So when we wind up the business, what will happen? The money which has been invested in these 3 businesses will get released, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So by that only we will be able to get the cash. Now, have you all understood? By cash cow, in a positive way, we need not to wind up this business because these businesses can survive for some more time for the reason it has a relative market share in a higher level, right? But dog, of course, the businesses which falls into the dog quadrant, that we have to wind up because it is pointless if you put money into that, it is going to eat the money. No any benefits we will be able to get. So rather than having those SBUs, we can close those SBUs or wind up those SBUs, right? So by that we can get the cash. So these lower two quadrants are there. No, what are the lower two quadrants? Cash cow and dog, right? So these two will give money. That is money or cash providers. The SBUs that falls into this quadrant are SBUs provide cash. And the upper two quadrants in which SBUs falls, those are the users of money. Why that they have to use the money? Or why that we have to invest on that? Come on. Why that we have to invest on that? Come for If you all are not answering, I will assume that you have just linked on, but you all are not there. MS4. That's why I'm removing. Next time, those who have removed, I will block. I cannot keep on removing always, no? MS4.
Ma'am, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. Who asked me?
Ma'am.
73. Yeah. Good. I was telling the quadrant, the lower quadrant. What are the lower quadrant? Cash cow and dog, no? These two, the SBUs which are falling into this quadrant. Now, how many SBUs that you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SBUs are there. SBUs are there, right? So, by these SBUs, you are able to get money. Cash cow, of course, 2 SBUs. By not having cash to be used, they can generate more money. But here in the dog, by winding up the businesses, releasing about the capital, you get the money. And the upper two quadrants are said to be cash users. These two are cash providers, cash users. Why that they are said to be cash users? Any idea? Yes, 73. You asked me to repeat the question. 73. Why it is
Because
said to,
star portion have higher growth rate and higher relative market share, ma'am. Then we will invest more resources on.
We have to invest more in order to get the advantage, isn't it?
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
good. Yes. And question mark? Question mark, still the market growth rate is high.
Oh,
so
yes,
the market attractiveness is
high.
High. Okay. But we have a lower market share. So what we have to do? We must increase the market share, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So for that, what we have to do? We have to use the money. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Good. Right. So this is what I am expecting. So now you understood now full about this BCG matrix. This is how the SBUs cash usage, cash providing is being determined. So this was the thing that we wanted to know about. So of course, what that I have already discussed is here. at the stars, cash cow, question mark, and dogs. Right? And sometimes there may be, of course, problem in using about the matrix, right? Matrix approach in the sense the BCG matrix mainly it is focused over. Now, defining about the SBUs and measuring the market share and the growth, of course, is difficult. Now, though that we have put it in the matrix in a very good way, right? A very understandable way. But in reality, calculating the market growth rate, that market growth rate to be higher and lower, the relative market share to be higher and lower, calculating that in reality is not that easier. So therefore, applying about BCG matrix is the very easiest model which is most used in order to decide for which SBUs to invest and from which SBUs to take away the money, right? But in reality, it is of course difficult to find out those two factors, the market growth rate and the relative market share. Time consuming it is because it will take a very lengthier time for us, and expensive also, how that you are going to calculate the market share, right, of each of those businesses rather than businesses relative market share, no? So we have to compare that with the competitors. So competitors market share have to be known to us. So how that we are calculating, even it is very difficult to calculate our market share, our own market share to be calculated, it is difficult. But how then we can calculate the market share of the competitor, right? So, of course, it is expensive. You wanted more of money spent on that. And here, of course, we are focusing about the current businesses. Only which businesses that we have invested only, we are focusing, not about the future. Future, what businesses would be prospering for our organization that we are not really focused over, right? So, though that the BCG matrix is the very simplified form of applying for the decision making, still in that matrix there is some problems that we have to face, right? Now, we can also have strategies for growth and the downsizing, right? So, growth and downsizing, of course, now this is ANSOF matrix, ANSOF product market expansion matrix, right? Now, here we are considering two things. One to be the markets and other one to be the product, right? In product, of course, I will show. Yeah, this is the one. In product, we have existing product and new product. In market, we have existing market and new markets, right? Now, based on this, we can have 4 strategies. One is market penetration. With the existing market, when you try to go with existing product, it is said to be market penetration. You try to penetrate into the market. With the existing market, if you try to give new products, then that strategy is called as product development. With existing product, if you go into new market, then that particular strategy is said to be market development. And if you have new products to the new market, then this is called as diversification, right? So this is also another technique which is being used by the organization in order to find out which of these strategies are applicable. 4 strategies are there: market penetration, product development, market development, as well as diversification. Out of these, what would be the appropriate one also have to be decided. So market penetration called to be a growth strategy, right? Where that we can increase the sales in the current market segments without changing about the product. So same product in the same market, by penetration, we try to increase the sales. Market development, this is also to be a growth strategy where we identify new markets and go with the current or existing product. Product development, again, it is a growth strategy where that you are offering about new products or modified products to the existing market. Diversification, this is also a growth strategy where that you are giving about new products into new market, right? Now, downsizing. So we said growth strategy and downsizing. Growth strategies, how many growth strategies are there? How many growth strategies are there? How many growth strategies?
4, ma'am.
4. Very good. 4. Right. So we were concerned over the growth strategies and downsizing. Downsizing, of course, is the reduction of the business portfolio by eliminating the products or the business units which are not profitable or no more that is having a fit with the organizational strategy, right? So growth strategy and downsizing. Downsizing, what you are going to do is you are going to take away the businesses which are not fruitful, right? And then we have to be concerned with the partnering of the organization in order to build a relationship, right? For that, this value chain will be more.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sorry. Yes, Amma. What is the problem? Someone was telling something. So value chain, of course, we have already had an understanding. So by this value chain, how the relationship can be built, right? So value chain, of course, is a series of departments where that is being used in order to create about the value, right? And of course, yeah. Yes, Amma. Is there is any connection problem? Unable to hear my voice?
No, ma'am.
Then why that girl was calling me? Right? So it is creating of value, right? For that we design, produce, market, deliver and support the particular firm's one, right? So we use about the value delivery network, right? So for that, we will know that as a company, we wanted suppliers. Why suppliers? They have to provide the raw material. Why we have to have distributors? They have to distribute your final product to the consumers, right? So the company has to have a relationship with the suppliers, relationship with the distributors, and ultimately relationship with the customers. So these are the people where that they will be searching for partnering. So the much more partnering that they have, much more benefits that the organization can gain. Chat. Can't see the screen. If there is any problem in seeing the screen?
No, ma'am, it is visible.
Visible. Okay. Right, I will just touch with this and wind up. So marketing strategy and the marketing mix. So we know that, right? So if you want to create about value and the relationship, this is the process which is been involved, right? Lately we will study about this. Segmentation, targeting, differentiation and positioning. And how that you can do it? This is by the marketing mix. So marketing mix, we know that is 4 P's: product, price, promotion, and place, right? And that goes with the overall marketing planning, right? So market analysis, market planning, market implementation, and market control. So that is, of course, the marketing strategy through which that we have to work for. Okay, so whatever facts that has been seen there, market segments, of course, you are going to divide the market into small pieces or small divisions, and out of that, you are able to select about certain segments, right? So that to be profitable. Don't worry, this area again will be repeated in another chapter, so that you will come to understand more about market segment, that you know what is meant by market targeting. Of course, you are seeing whether the segment is more attractive, and therefore that we can select that segment for us to have. What is that? Who did that? So market segment, market targeting, of course, that you see the attractiveness of the particular segment that you have had, and you apply the marketing mix. So that is the 4 P's, and you see what does the 4 P's means, right? So product, under product, these are the things we look under price. These are the things, place, promotion, right? So these are the things now we are going to study individually, right? Separately, so that you will have a understanding, right? So marketing effort, of course, the planning, you have the, you develop about the strategic plans, and of course by that, the marketing plans are also developed. Then you go on implementing, right? And the controlling is being taken in order to see whether the strategies have been worked well, right? So you measure the results, evaluate the results, and take a corrective action. Right, and coming into the marketing effort, so based on the internal as well as the external factors, right? Internal to be taking the strength and the weaknesses, external to see about the opportunities and threats. Next time I'll block you, huh? Don't do these silly things. Not revealing your number, just coming with com. Rifan, are you there? Rifan. Students, now you have to find out who that person. If not, I am not going to have lectures for you on finding.
Record.